I want to quickly talk to you about Headway Capital. And if you're a small business owner, you always have to look at all the opportunities to get business funding. And Headway Capital can really help you. And what I love about Headway Capital is that you have a streamlined loan application process. Okay, they're not really bothering you with too many questions. Of course, they'll ask you for the most basic info, but from there they can actually fund you within 2 to 3 days. Okay, so let me first talk to you about what Headway Capital is, so you have a clear idea about what the company stands for and what it does not actually, what kind of business model it doesn't support. So Headway Capital is primarily an online business lender. Okay, so you don't have a traditional bank, you don't have a traditional lender sitting somewhere, somebody who like a company whose offices you can go to and sit with someone. No, you have an online business lender. So they are traditionally based online. So this is digital first, okay? And but Headway Capital actually specializes in only one product. That's what I love because it just means that basically they have one product. Some people might think, well, this is too little. What if I want options? But on the flip side, when you really think about it, having one product gives you specialization, gives you expertise, and gives you experience, and that's what Headway Capital really has. Okay, so it offers a business line of credit. So when you go to Headway Capital, you are primarily going to a lender who has only a business line of credit to offer. Okay, so you can get a revolving line of credit with a credit limit as much as $100,000. Okay, and the repayment terms are 12, 18, or 24 months. So you will love the simplicity here. You'll love the fact that their business model is very simple. I might even say simplistic, but that's really good. That's really good. Okay. Now there are actually many differences between Headway Capital's product and a traditional line of credit. Okay, and I will explain that in the next few minutes because what Headway is actually doing is that they are actually bringing a few features, a few capabilities, a few functionalities to their line of credit to actually empower more businesses. Okay, so $100,000, that's the limit, and also you have 12, 18, or 24 months. So, what do you need to apply for Headway Capital? If you want to get a business line of credit with Headway Capital, you actually you will need a few, like you wouldn't need a lot of paperwork, but you might need two or three documents. Okay, like business tax returns. So I'm speaking about your 1065, your 1120s or 1120. So if you have a C corporation, it will be 1120. If you have an S corporation, it will be 1120s. And if you have an LLC or LLP, it will be 1065. Okay. And if you are a sole proprietorship, you actually will just show them your 1040. Okay. So that's for business tax returns. They'll ask for your personal tax returns, and they will ask for your P&L. So the cool thing is your P&L, that's your profit and loss statement. Sometimes it's called income statements or statement of income. It's the same thing. Okay. And so that's it. That's it. Headway Capital is not complicating stuff. They're not asking you to connect your business bank account to their system so they can pick into your financial your cash inflows and outflows. They're not doing that. A lot of players do that, okay, but Headway Capital is not doing that, okay. And one thing I want to say also is that you might have to provide other documents depending on the niche you're in, depending on the amount that you want to, because remember, they will give you a maximum of $100,000, but that doesn't mean that you are gonna get the full $100,000. You might get 50, for 25, 45. So the more you are potentially able to get, the more, like, the stricter the process becomes. I mean, they might ask you for a business plan, for instance. They might ask you for business bank statements for the last 3 months or the last 6 months. Okay, that's something to really think about. And they might also ask you to provide, let's say, some information about your business, like the ownership of that kind of stuff. Okay, and that's really important. And so, if you want to apply for Headway Capital, you need a an average bank balance of less than $500, which is totally possible. Okay, You need to be located in. You need to be located in the right states, quote unquote, right states, because Headway Capital doesn't work with businesses that are located in Arkansas, Connecticut, Hawaii, Michigan, Montana, Nevada, North Dakota, okay, Rhode Island, South Dakota, or Vermont, okay. And if you are a sole proprietorship located in Delaware, Maine, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Jersey, or Wyoming, you're not going to qualify for a loan through Headway Capital. So how do you apply for a business line of credit with Headway Capital? Basically, the application for Headway Capital is straightforward. I mean, they're not going to sort of complicate things for you, okay? And you can complete the application within 3 to 5 minutes. That's really good. 3 to 5 minutes, you're done, done. Done deal. And so you fill out the application, so you can actually apply through their website, or you can go to their app. So Headway Capital has an app, and you can apply either through the app online, or you can go to the mobile platform. So that's totally fine. And what will happen here is that basically, once you actually apply, they will ask you for some preliminary information, and once you submit that info, somebody from Headway Capital will contact you. Okay, they'll contact you maybe for more explanation. They'll contact you for clarification on certain things, and they might actually ask you to provide documentation. So this is where they will ask you to provide documentation, like that what I said a little earlier: your business tax returns, your personal tax returns, maybe your financial. It depends on besides the P&L, the profit and loss statement, they might ask you to provide your statement of cash flow. They might ask you to provide your balance sheet, for instance, the latest one. I mean, if you have accounting software, you don't have to really do anything. Just go to your QuickBooks, go to your Zoho Books, go to your to your Zero software, and just print whatever you have there. Okay, so that's really good. And once you submit everything and they're fine, you should get funded within 2 to 3 days. Totally fine. Okay. Now post funding, just set up your account that you actually make a payment every single month to Headway Capital, because Headway Capital actually is a pay as you go system. So as you actually as when you draw funds, your first payment is automatically deducted from your bank account in 7 to 30 days, depending on whether you choose weekly or monthly payments. So this is one difference from a Headway Capital and a traditional business line of credit, because traditional business line of credit either would allow you to make a monthly payment, or just to pay whatever you owe during the repayment period. But Headway Capital, this is a pay as you go. They want you to really pay them as you go, because it's they just thought this is the best way for them to manage manage a default risk. So, what are the advantages? If you think about Headway Capital, what are the advantages and the disadvantages of this lender? Let's talk about that. So, let's first talk about the advantages, okay? One thing you need to understand here is that when you think about Headway Capital, you only have one product, right? You have one product that's a business line of credit. So, that really, right off the bat, this is a very simplistic or a very simple process. So, I love the fact that Headway Capital is actually known for its simplicity. The application process is very simple. Okay, so so you have a short application, and you have minimal paperwork. If you were to go to a bank or a credit union, for instance, whew, only God knows how much they will ask you to submit, like crazy. Some banks are very conservative, but Headway Capital is not. Okay, I mean, they are conservative in their own way. Okay, so they'll ask you for, like I said, a very simple paperwork, and so that's really good. And also, there is no hard credit pull until you've signed your contract. So basically, you are going to you have a soft pull. You have a soft pull. They'll do a soft pull and see where you are at in terms of personal credit score and business credit score, if applicable. Okay, and and after that, they might just ask you to provide your bank statements, to provide your financial statements. So you can see that the whole process is very simple. Okay. And one thing I've seen also after research is that Headway Capital has some of the loosest requirements in the business financing industry. Okay, their minimum credit score is very low, and you only need to be in business for 6 months to 1 year. So this makes Headway Capital a strong choice for a growing company with poor or little credit history. Okay, and also with Headway Capital, you're not paying any prepayment penalty. So that's really good because some lenders are charging you a prepayment penalty. Some are charging you an origination fee. Headway Capital is charging none of that. So that's really cool. So those are the advantages. What are the disadvantages of Headway Capital? The first thing is that you only have one product, right? That's what I said a little earlier. So if you're looking for a lender that has flexibility, if you're looking for a lender that has many products to offer, you will be very disappointed because Headway Capital only has a line of credit. So if you're looking for a business term loan, if you're looking for equipment financing, if you're looking for accounts receivable financing, if you're looking for if you're looking for invoicing financing, you're not getting that with Headway Capital. You'll be really, they don't offer that. So this is really something to really think about. Okay. And one thing I want to say also is that the amount, not only are they offering one product, but also the amount can, some people might think, some entrepreneurs, some small business owners might actually think that the maximum amount is kind of a little, like $100,000. That's little. I mean, by comparison, if you were to think about Fundbox, for instance, Fundbox is giving you a maximum of $150,000. Blue Vine is giving you $250,000. I mean, you have a different amounts in the industry. So $100,000 for a business line of credit can be considered kind of little. Okay, but if you're comfortable with that amount, that's totally fine. Okay, and also basically with Headway Capital, you also have the geo restriction problem. I mean, problem, quote unquote problem, because they are only serving 36 states. So they're not in 14 states. So there are 14 states. I gave you those states a little earlier. They're not in those 14 states. Okay. So if you happen to be in those states, you are out of luck. Okay. And some states have first time withdrawal limits of, limits, withdrawal minimums of at least $5,000. And many institutions that offer business lines of credit have no first time withdrawal minimums. Okay. So this is another restriction that Headway Capital has. So you can see that the list starts to add up when it comes to what makes Headway Capital different from your traditional business line of credit. So what are the pros and cons here? If you think about Headway Capital, what kind of pros and cons can you think about? What on the plus side, you have a quick and easy application process. Okay, like I said, you can get funded within 2 to 3 days. Okay, or you can actually, so if you apply today, within 2 days you can have money in your account. Okay, and with Headway Capital, you also don't need a high credit score. So if you're struggling right now with your FICO score, or you think something happened in your personal credit history, and you're not actually where you are supposed to be right now, you can still find Headway Capital to kind of help you out in terms of funding. In terms of funding, also the annual revenue requirement is not really that high. So if you are, as a matter of fact, they even accept also projected revenue. So if you don't have actual revenue, you can actually use projected revenue and still qualify. And the time in business also, the requirement for the time in business is also pretty flexible. Okay, a lot of lenders will ask you to have 2 years. Lenders, including Wells Fargo and Bank of America, will ask you to be in business for 2 years. And Headway Capital is not asking you to be in business for that long. Okay, so that's good. You have no prepayment penalty, and you have the potential also to save interest if you pay early. And you have a friendly and knowledgeable customer service, and you have a transparent fee structure. So what about the cons? Well, Headway Capital is more expensive than similar products. If you were to compare and contrast what Headway Capital is offering in terms of business line of credit to what, say, Bluevine is offering, or Fundbox is offering, or other players even Lendio, for instance, Lendio, which is not really your direct lender, but a marketplace, you can actually find better products on those sites. Okay, you have a 2% draw fee in most states, and actually, Headway Capital is not available in some states. And also, like I said a little earlier, $100,000 as a maximum credit limit can be a little limiting for some business purposes. So if you think about Headway Capital, you just need to understand this is a legit company. They've been around for a while now. Okay, this is a legit company, and basically, they're totally safe. Your data is safe. Okay, when you apply through Headway Capital, your data is safe. They're using a 2FA, two-factor authentication, and MFA, multi-factor authentication, to actually get your data secured. Okay, during transmission, but also around at the time of application. So that's really good. And one thing I want to say here is that Headway Capital, unfortunately, does not help you actually build business credit. That's a bummer because if you are trying to build business credit and you go to Headway Capital, they're not going to help you. So if you they do not report your data to the business credit bureaus, Dun and Bradstreet, Equifax Business, or Experian Business every single month. They don't do that. Okay, so if you want to build business credit, don't go with Headway Capital. Okay, that's something to really think about. And Bluevine, for instance, Bluevine by comparison can actually help you build business credit. Okay, so that's something to really think about. And also, if you happen to be declined if you are declined by Headway Capital, just remember you have tons and tons and tons of lenders out there. Okay, from loan marketplaces like Lendio and NBC, National Business Capital, to direct lenders such as Bluevine and others. You have the possibility. As a matter of fact, you can even say, you know what, I don't want to have a business line of credit anymore. I want to apply for a business loan. And if that's the case, you can just go to a direct lender. You can go to a bank or a credit union, or you can just go to a direct lender and just get a loan. Okay, direct lender, or you can go to a loan marketplace. Again, you can go to a loan marketplace and actually have your application being submitted to several lenders at once. So when it comes to loan marketplaces, Lendio and Clarify Capital are good ones. You have NBC, National Business Capital, also, and so that's really good. So that gives you option. So at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, should you go with Headway Capital? My answer is yes, if their product fits your business model. Do you need a business line of credit? If yes, how much do you need? Do you need more? Do you need less than $100,000? Yes, okay. And the third thing is that, do you live in the geography that the Headway Capital covers? Because if you are in those 14 states where they're not at, you're out of luck. They're not going to be able to serve you. But if you are in the other 36 states where they're at, you are good to go. So in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about Headway Capital. I told you what the company really stands for, what you need to apply for their line of credit, how to apply, and also the advantages, the disadvantages. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.